Hello, everybody, and welcome to another episode of ZGN Talks. And today we're going to be talking about 4 mistakes that will make you poor in your 20s. So the first mistake that most people make in their 20s is they constantly listen to other people. And, not to say that you shouldn't listen to other people, but the majority of the time, people tend to listen to people that haven't done what they want to do. Say, for instance, you like taking, Mitch and I's circumstance in this situation. Let's say Mitch and I wanted to be entrepreneurs and business people when we were young. Well, why should we take advice from someone who ended up being a doctor or an engineer? Why should we take advice from someone who ended up doing something that we didn't want to do? So what it comes down to is the first mistake that people often make in their 20s is they base their life off of other people's opinions, and they listen to people that don't do what they want to do. And, sadly, this sometimes can include friends and family. And, it's just one hurdle you have to jump over and just say, you know what, if this person is in the industry and isn't doing what I want to do, their advice usually isn't pretty relevant to me. What you should really be doing in your 20s is finding your purpose and listening to those that relate to you and do what you want to do.
Now, the second mistake that you might be making in your 20s that can make you potentially poor is you're using too much social media. So social media can either be your best friend or it could be your biggest enemy. Now, let's talk a bit about how it could be your best friend. So say, for example, you run a business. Then using social media from a business standpoint that can get you customers or it can expand your presence and brand awareness, then social media will become your best friend. But for instance, for it to become your enemy, what if you're just someone that on average consumes social media content on a daily basis and you spend 3, 4, even 5 hours a day on social media just scrolling through people's stories, scrolling through the page, seeing what people are doing, seeing what they're eating, where they're traveling? You are not benefiting from that at all. And Emiliano and I spoke about this concept in previous videos, but your brain only has 100 units of focus every single day. And imagine giving all of that up, hours every single day, just paying attention to what other people are doing. And then you're on social media and you're looking at people that are 40, 50, maybe even 60 years old who have been pursuing business for the past 20, 30, 40, maybe even 50 years. And these people have so much more experience and time on you. And when you're comparing yourself to them and looking at their lifestyle, their results, their network, and just their life in general versus yours, who just started maybe pursuing their business and has no experience at all, well, that could really get into your head. And that is something that a lot of people fall victim to. And that not only will mess with your head, but it will really slow you down. And it'll just fill your mind up with pointless information that you don't need to know.
And, to say Mitch and I has also suffered from this. We were in our elder teens, 19, and even now, a little bit, we had a huge ego. And, to some degree, an ego is needed if you're going into business or going into a lot of fields. You have to think, I'm the best, I'm the most qualified to do this, I'm going to build a business. Now, that's healthy, but there's also a certain degree of ego that becomes unhealthy at some point. For instance, if you think you know it all and you have nothing else to learn, you just have to do what you got to do, a lot of the times, the thing can actually slow down your growth compared to what would have happened if you would have opened up your mind and listened to some other people. And, what it comes down to is at the end of the day, although you may not believe it and you may not want to believe it, there's always going to be someone in your field that's more qualified than you are and has more experience than you do. So, for example, Mitch and I are very accomplished Amazon sellers by our standards, and we help run and manage other people's stores. But I guarantee you, and I know for a fact, there are other people out there that have a much bigger business than us that have been doing it way longer. Now, to say Mitch and I do have an ego when it comes to business. Like, we have to believe, hey, our service is the best. But at the same time, we have to also consider people that are ahead of us and look at what they've done and what's worked for them. We can't just think that, we're going to take over everybody and not consider what mistakes they've made. Because a lot of the time, what you're going to end up seeing is if you focus and, you really learn from people who are more experienced than you in your field, whether or not that's entrepreneurship, you're going to discover you can actually avoid a lot of mistakes that those people made. And that can save you a lot of money, time, and effort in your own business or in your own life. And kind of relating this to different societies, in the world, there's these people called elders in the law societies, and people go to them because they're wise and they've been through a lot and they made a lot of mistakes in their lives. And, they try to pass their wisdom on to the younger generation. And, business and, life is the same exact way. There's always going to be people out there that know a lot more than you, or a lot more wise than you. And what you should be doing, you should be learning from those people. Because a lot of the times when you learn from those people, you're growing. And if you refuse to listen, you block everything and think you're the only person that's right, you're going to end up not growing at the same growth rate, or probably not even growing at all. If you, contact other people and figure out, hey, what mistakes did these people make that I can avoid? And what did these guys do that worked for them? And how could that possibly work for me?
Now, what I'm about to say is a very contrarian approach in regards to what most other people think. And most people are told to focus on happiness, but I say don't do that at first and solely focus on what your specialty is. Now, I'm someone that solely believes that you should first get your finances together before going ahead and pursuing what makes you quote unquote happy, passionate, fulfilled, all of those good things. But at first, get your money together. Now, the reality is that we live in a competitive world in which if you don't have money, it is very hard to make a living, and it's not that fun to live because, say, for example, you're someone that wants to save the world or change the world. There are certain problems that you have in the world that you want to fix. You can only do so much by going on social media and posting about it and writing about it. But if you're actually able to accumulate a certain amount of wealth and put it towards solving that problem, well, you'll be making a much longer lasting physical impact than just clicking a few buttons on social media to share your opinion. And in order to get to this point, you really need to focus on what you're good at. Now, say for example, if you're watching this and hypothetically you love art, you just want to draw for a living and that makes you happy, great. By all means, do that. You want to travel the world, go to museums, network with really high-leveled artists. Well, it's hard to really do that if you don't have the right money in place. So instead of fully focusing on your art, maybe get a job, start a business, accumulate wealth, while also on the side focusing on what your passion and skill is. And then go ahead and pursue your passion once you've accumulated wealth. And you no longer need to worry about money anymore because it's no longer a problem. So yeah, guys, we hope you got value out of this video. If you enjoyed it, smash the like button, subscribe, comment below what you thought about the video. Again, our Instagrams are down in the description below. If you want to ask us any questions, network, communicate with us, feel free to shoot us a DM. And yeah, we hope you enjoyed this video, and we'll see you guys in the next one.
Adios.